I've not been to many funerals. And this is the only second one. I'm going to apologize ahead of time. It's only the second one I've ever seen where people contribute and talk and everything. And so this was quite, but I wanted to share something. I wanted to say what I felt about Keith, basically. So here I go. Keith Gillespie. And I'm Jeff Gillespie, Keith's brother. I worked with Keith a long time. Well, I might be saying it right, so okay. I wrote it down today. I love my brother. I love all my brothers and sisters. First, I would like to repeat something that someone once said to me a long time ago. When somebody you know passes away, it's important to remember that everybody handles death differently, and it's okay. Whatever a person may say, speak, or do, it's all okay. There's no written script us humans must follow. We have another sister who did not make it here tonight at the dinner, Catherine. And I'm very close to Catherine, Kate. I can tell you that she also is having trouble and hurting during this time. And just by talking to her, she is dealing with it in her own personal way. You can feel it. I respect that, and I respect her. And she doesn't know I'm saying any of this. Actually, and 10 days ago, let's talk about me for 1 second before I get more with Keith. I actually wasn't going to come. In my mind, I didn't want to come to this because I'm not familiar with funerals and a lot. And I was fine with Keith personally. I visited him in the hospital. I saw him before, and I worked with him for 11 and a half years. And so I wasn't going to come to this. But then I thought about it, and not out of any disrespect to Keith. It wasn't about that. I thought about it, and I was afraid of the consequences of what other people would say. And more importantly, I didn't want to get any more distance from my other family members. Between me and my other brothers, especially my adopted brothers. Nothing is wrong, but I was afraid of the interpretation. Well, I'm here. And I want to share. I want to share about what it was like working for so many years with my brother Keith, my buddy. Okay, where do I start? I have been blessed by just having the privilege of working with Keith at our dad's plumbing company for, oh my gosh, we worked together about 11 years. Keith and I, we were a good team. I was always so proud to be Keith's brother. At work, Keith was not only my brother, but he was my buddy. He had my back and I had his. We both knew this. And sometimes we even teamed up against Dad. Our relationship is awesome. I loved it when we were in public, either with customers, coworkers, even the people at the plumbing supply houses. It is so fun to just say, yes, we are brothers. And I took pride in that, and sometimes we even had to say, oh, no, we don't look alike. We went overboard, exaggerated it all the time. Also to say, yes, our father is Curtis. That was fun too. In Plumbing by Curtis. It made us, many times when we're together with Keith, in the public business circle of people, clients, etc., just by mentioning Dad's name, it was so much fun. The respect we got and shared as Curtis's children. I would make it a point to make sure Keith was included, and in return, Keith gave me so much respect back. we always got along. We never argued or fought, not once. He cared and I cared. I was proud. I could tell Keith was proud too. Now Keith did sometimes have a bit of temper. I don't know if anybody here knows of Keith's little temper. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Okay, just so I want to make sure I'm not alone here. I could go to the plumbing company and everybody would, believe me, everybody would have seen it. But it was not, one thing, it was never directed at me. I used to joke, and more than once even told him, I think you learned your temper part from Dad. Because Dad sometimes, he would, well, here it is. They both would say what was on their mind at times and with no filter. They both also would be quick to move on, not dwelling on whatever may have upset them. And I was, and am, a move-on type person as well. Keith was a company man. At our work, Keith had many different responsibilities at different times throughout the years. He was the parts guy. This is just a few of them. He was the data entry person. Even for a time, he lived on the property and somehow sort of became our security person. He was good at seeing what was not being done correctly. He followed the rules. Keith was loyal and trustworthy. Keith was not perfect. He was just as human as anybody else. I remember because of his attention to detail when he believed rules were broken or something was done wrong, or at times that he may have rubbed someone the wrong way, a new employee, an old employee, or he sometimes would get upset. And not always having that filter, he said what was on his mind, and sometimes what he said even surprised me. But I have to tell you, and as you may know, Keith was a kind person with a kind soul. His sometimes tough talk was just his way of handling life or the situation. I have joked with him many times saying something like, I know you don't mean what you just said, and I believe he didn't. At times he was tough talk, but he was also so kind inside. He had a kind spirit. The tough talk was just that talk. When you were in good with Keith, you were his buddy. You were in his circle. You can feel how much he cared. Keith never took the shortcut at work. He did everything to the best of his ability. I'll say it again, he was loyal, and Keith was a company man. I really loved working with him. Keith loved no one more and was never prouder than his son, Tim. Once during the years of Keith and I working together, I don't know if you remember Tim, but Keith, your dad asked me to help you tutor you with your math. And I was one proud uncle. In fact, just Keith asking me to do this was rewarding from Keith to me, all on its own. I loved my brother, and God has blessed me. Just the opportunity of us working together as brothers for all those years. Also, God has blessed me working with Keith as well as growing up with my 3 adopted brothers, Ron, Scott, and Bill. I know because of this, I am a better person today. Keith may have had a rough health life. He may have been dealt with so many tough life problems, and even from birth. Yet if Keith was destined to go through life with these tough health issues, if it was his genetic makeup, then I believe God also has blessed Keith. I believe God put Mom and Dad in Keith's path. Who else could have done so well? It took special people, and Keith listened to both Mom and Dad. I believe in the big picture that this helped Keith's quality of life. He may have left us early this past November 21st, 2018, yet he accomplished so much. He was married, he had a child, which he was so loved. He worked in the family business and then moved on to a company and with people, a boss I don't personally know, but they must be wonderful people. And from what I've heard, all the help they gave Keith these past years. God's plan. And like Dad was saying, God's plan, even with Ron, the oldest brother of Keith's first family, being with him in the end. Scott, his brother, he lived with and always helping each other. And with him up until the end, the mom and dad he knew as mom and dad since 7 years old, with him and helping him all through life and up until the end. Many other family members, brothers, Curtis, sisters, Cindy, from out of town, out of state, and friends. Bill, brother falls under brothers, doing their individual part and joining and helping each in their own way over the past years and up until the end. Up until this, even his employer and his co-workers helping in so many ways these past years, joining in and helping up to the end. All and everything happening as it was supposed to and at the time needed. God's plan. I believe in God, and I believe God was with Keith, watching over and keeping Keith in his hands his whole life. And with Keith being the strong person he was, he did not get mad for himself. And through this life, his temper never did show for himself. His head up, he just kept on keeping on. Keith, my youngest brother, was definitely living life and being true to oneself. I love you, Keith, your brother Jeff.